The Mora Garberg, ladies and gentlemen, the full tang budget fixed blade powerhouse from Mora is what we're going to be talking about in this video. Stick around. You know, I can't even call this a review really, because it's not. I already have an opinion about this blade before I even use it. Mora knives. Man, I mean, anybody who has used Mora, just about everybody I know and just about everybody out here in the knife community that I've talked to has nothing but good things to say about Mora. In fact, I've never heard a bad word about their knives. Many people consider them to be the best budget knives on the market. Now, some may not consider the Mora Garberg a budget blade necessarily. You know, you can get their basic for about 11 or 12 bucks. You can get the companion for about 20. You're going to pay anywhere from $70 to $100 for a Garberg. Now, I will tell you this. On Amazon right now, they're marked way down. Knife Center, several other places right now have the Garberg marked way down. So if you're thinking about getting one, now is definitely the time. Now, I didn't purchase this Garberg. This was actually given to me on loan from a friend of mine who also has a YouTube channel called Forest Adventures with Scott. Friends, if you love my channel, I really want to encourage you to go out and subscribe to Forest Adventures with Scott. I told him I'd give him a special plug in this video. I have really enjoyed his content. He's new and up and coming on YouTube, and he just has a lot of great videos with regards to the outdoors. He's done some solo camping trips. Just kind of therapeutic to watch, you know, and it's very inspiring in the area of camping. I'm going to drop a link in the description of this video. It would bless my heart if you'd go out and subscribe to Forest Adventures with Scott. He added this lanyard here, but we've got us a 9-inch knife here with a 4.29-inch blade. This thing is full tang. It is the dream Mora for its price. It's a stout 8.7 ounces. You know I had to throw it at least once if you know me. It most definitely can hold up to the task. It's definitely a working man's fixed blade. I just love the grind on these Mora knives. They're always so razor sharp. They hold their edge. This thing feels perfect in the hand, perfect to work with. Just great blades. And then when you take all of the features of a Mora, like that you'd get in a basic and a companion, and you slap it on a full tang solid blade with even more thickness and more weight, and a great spine for sparking fires, you just have the total package. And in this video, I'm actually going to do a little project with the Mora Garberg here, as I'm going to be making a survival spear. You know, so often when we test these blades, we just do standard testings. We'll carve things, we'll baton things. And I thought to myself, you know, why not actually use this on a project for this particular video? And I've been wanting to make me another survival spear as of late. So you're getting a 2-for-1 in this video. You get to learn more about the Mora, and you get to see how I make my spear. All right, so we're gonna be heading out here on a little forest adventure. Might as well talk about everything that comes to mind with the Mora. So here's your sheath, you know, typical Mora sheath there, but it hooks to the belt this way. It doesn't have a clip like the others. Now, if I could make any changes to this, I'd bring this up a little tighter. I think it's a little loose for me. I don't like that dangling so much. Now, you could always throw it down in a pocket like that if you wanted to. If you didn't want it dangling around, you know, in a pair of jeans especially, it would be very discreet if you were just carrying it around and you didn't want it dangling off down your leg. But I really do wish that this wasn't so big. Most belts are not going to be that big, and I'd like to see this up just a little bit higher. Now, they do make a leather sheath. You're going to pay a little bit more for it, but I think it might be worth it. The knife is so great, and the sheath is okay, but I like a little bit of a tighter hold with mine. All right, let's talk survival spear. You know, if you have a good knife on you and a way to start a fire, such as a ferro rod, you can make a decent survival spear. I personally like to use them as my walking sticks for the woods, just because, you know, it's a nice thing to have. You can hold something at bay. I don't necessarily need mine to survive, but if I was ever in a situation where, you know, I was maybe stranded and had to be in that situation, you know, survival spear is a great thing to have. I could think of a million reasons you'd need one. So I'm gonna find us a nice straight stick. I'm gonna take it down with the Mora. Gonna be doing some batoning, and then I'll get somewhere and make a little fire and fire harden this tip. I personally like the looks of something like this right here. This is nice and straight, and it's the perfect size. So let's take it down. Now, if we're gonna be talking about bushcraft knives, well, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is kind of heavy duty type of stuff. You know, and I had to find a stick that's gonna be, this is gonna be hard, solid enough to be able to baton with, you know, find something solid enough laying around. And I'm just gonna kind of take it from right here. I'm gonna stand it up now, and I'm gonna cut it about right here where my index is, because I don't want the spear to be shorter than my head. And I don't want to trip up and fall and accidentally poke myself in the head or the neck. So I'm gonna cut the spear a little bit higher than my head. Now I've got a baton at about right here. What I'm gonna do, now you see how that's cutting right into that wood there? That's a Mora for you. There we go. I'm picking a place down here by the creek to carve and build a little fire so I can fire harden the end of this. So let's get into some carving. Batoning, man, it busts right through everything. It's still not that big of a blade, so it's still a very focused area, but it's big enough, and this is so sharp, you get a good hit, it's just gonna burn through the wood. So I was able to take down this tree with the Mora and a big piece of wood. So now I'm just gonna start carving. You wanna talk about an easy job when you start carving? Just look at how the Mora kind of cuts right through. Look at that. It just, I mean, I'm telling you, I've carved with some dull knives, and you want to talk about something that takes forever. This is just gonna melt right through the process. It's just taking wood off by the chunk. And that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna carve this down to a spear tip. You can just see how wood's just flying all over the place. As you can see, friends, it just allows me to carve this down beautifully. All right, let's get it hardened. The wood's kind of wet down here, but I kind of got this dry piece and I was able to get this split pretty easy. I'm just gonna cut some shavings, try to let these pile up. But again, this is just glorious for cutting shavings. You get a nice sharp blade like this Mora. This look, I mean, it's just sawing off all kinds of little shavings. I'm gonna get a nice pile of these going, see if I can strike a rod to this bad boy. So I want to explain a couple of things that I'm going to do with this. Now, one of the things that's important to do, if you can, is to grease the end of this spear. Now, if you got chapstick in your pocket or some kind of hand lotion or balm of some sort, you know, you can use that. But a lot of people in an emergency situation may or may not have that. But you know what you do have on you? Grease. We are greasy people. We are greasy. Whatever kind of sweat you can get off your nose, your forehead, I mean, anywhere you can get it, anywhere you can get grease and sweat from your face, that will work if you don't have anything else. And that's all I've got on me right now, is my greasy nose and my greasy head. But if you got chapstick, lotion, or anything, you can use that. But I'm having to use this. You can even, it may sound gross, you can use earwax, you can use whatever you got to try to protect the surface of this wood as it's being toasted in the fire. Like I said, it's been a little wet, but one thing you can do is gather some dry leaves from places where there's heavy sunlight. This is really dry. I've been able to find some dry twigs here. I've got these shavings. I'm gonna work with all of this to get a fire going. You can also use, you know, pieces of lint in your pocket or little pieces of like dried up paper. You can use that too. Look here, friends, you don't have to build no big fire. You just want to build this up enough to roast. And I'm not going to be down here camping out. I'm just making a video. Just want to roast this for a little while. Roast the end of this spear. If you wanted to make it last a long time, you could shave the whole thing, grease the whole thing up, and fire harden it. But in the meantime, we're just roasting Don't burn the tip. After you toast it, something else you might want to do is take a smooth stone and just rub in those fibers into the wood, you know, because when you toast something, you make it harder. You know, that's the purpose of roasting the tip, is you're making it hard. And what you're doing with this smooth stone is you're compressing those fibers in there. Get that thing, man. That's ready to go to work. The Mora Garberg, ladies and gentlemen, it's no wonder why this knife is so popular. Look at it. I mean, that's just a solid knife. And you know, this thing is priced along the same lines as something like a Gerber Strong Arm, which I like the Gerber Strong Arm. I just don't think it's as good a knife as something like this. It's not as sharp. It's not as easy to keep an edge on it. And this is just smooth. It's smooth as butter. It throws a good spark. The ferro rod that I had wasn't worth a crap. It was still too small, man. If you're gonna use those things, just get a big one. And I'm gonna be even more transparent. If you think there's any possibility that you're going in the woods, or if you're putting together a survival kit for your car, just put some good fire starter stuff in there. Farrowing a fire can be the biggest pain in the butt in the world. I mean, it's good to know how to do it, but there's a better way. At least keep a lot of stuff around that can ignite. It's risky business out there trying to gather up dry leaves. And I'm thankful that I got it started as quick as I did today, because man, I've had days where I just went on and on and on. So it's good to really have a lot of prep with you for fire. You know, I love my Mora Basic and Companion, and this is just like the heavyweight big daddy of them all. Cutting down a tree like this and making a survival spear is definitely a beastly task for a knife, but it won't no trouble for the Mora Garberg. So maybe you came to this video to find out whether or not spending the money on this was worth it. You may be like me and you've enjoyed the benefits of working with the Basic and the Companion. Well, with this, you have those benefits, but with more power and strength and the ability to do heavier tasks. It's just hard to beat something that works as well as a Mora in a full tang fixed blade. Thank you for watching, my friend. I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.